It's election week, so definitely in New York, we have a big mayoral election, so people are talking about that here. Mm-hmm. It's also exciting. New York has we now have early voting, so people are voting around town, which just as a citizen of this great country, it's so nice to actually have voting be so accessible. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see, quite frankly, just how many people show up and vote and early vote because they seem to make it very easy, at least in my neck of the woods, to vote, and we will see. Do they go with the Curtis Sliwa, who's a man of many cats? Do we have old school Andrew Cuomo, who has taken off the gloves and decided that racism is something that can be really fun to play with on election day?
It's a real throwback.
It's a real throwback. Or do we welcome in communism with Zohran? Who knows? You know, Antifa communism is on the ballot. If you're watching,
New York City has to decide.
You have to decide. Boy, and you're also watching New York media ramp up with what the Post puts on its front pages, what the ads are. So we're really feeling it right now in New York City. So that's Tuesday. It'll be very compelling to see what happens in New York, how people frame it in New York. And also there's some big governor races that are taking place that I'm sure people will piece. What does it mean about the Democratic Party? What does it mean about the state of the nation in general? And we will have fun both with the results and with the hysteria surrounding the results.
Yeah. I think the one thing that we know for sure is whatever the message is out of Election Day on Tuesday, the media will overblow it and misunderstand it, because it was less than a year ago where they're like, New York City has moved very far to the right. Donald Trump did much better in New York City and the surrounding areas. And so, it's clear that there's a rejection of the Democratic Party and leftism in general. And then the next year it's like, so a communist is going to be the mayor of New York City. It's like, we don't know. We don't know what it's going to be. But yeah, so, for a year it was like, well, it's, the whole country's moving right. Now it's like, I think we're going to put up a Berlin Wall in America. I don't know. So
it's funny when I travel outside too, because this local race has become such a national race, at least if you're into politics. And so people are always asking me about what's happening there. And quite frankly, I feel people are getting too caught up in the politics of it. Mm-hmm. Yes, Mamdani considers himself a democratic socialist. That is part of the conversation. Mm-hmm. That is a big part of the conversation. And yet, when I talk to people around New York City and you see such a rejection of Cuomo at the primary stages, like what seems like it really cuts through is the authenticity argument. And Cuomo has adopted such Trumpian tactics in the way in which he's politicking right now that I just feel pushing everybody away. And there's a larger conversation as to what the Democratic Party wants, especially in a place like New York, which is not like the rest of America. But I see a lot of people responding to leftist ideas, but more so than that, somebody who is not playing with such an old playbook. Andrew Cuomo had stability to a lot of New Yorkers, and I know a lot of people who have felt connections to him during the pandemic before some of the information came out about what was going on at the nursing homes. But still, there was like a steadiness to his moderation. Yeah. But he is engaged in such Trumpian tactics that have become vile. They feel inauthentic to who he is portraying himself as. They feel desperate. He's been cornered in a way and has become so cruel in his... He's revealed a cruelty to his person that quite frankly you're not seeing in the Mamdani campaign. And so, I don't know. We'll see what all the pundits have to say about what happens on Tuesday, and I'm sure they will make it about the politics of a democratic socialist if he is victorious. But so much of it to me is about what feels authentic, what feels outside of the morass of political bullshit right now. I think that is what has resonated most with the people that I talk to.
One thing I will say about the Mamdani campaign is he is so skilled at running for mayor of New York. Like, I've never seen someone who has run a better campaign just within New York. And an example of that is you and I were at the final Wu-Tang Clan concert, and then all of a sudden, as we were there, Run the Jewels opened, then the Wu-Tang Clan comes out, and then it started making its way through the crowd that Zohran Mamdani was here. And I just remember thinking, this is a man who knows how to run for mayor of New York City. To show, of all the places to show up, like you'll see people at Knicks games or at Yankee games and they'll wave on the Jumbotron. It's like, oh, he's here to see the RZA, the Jizza, the Ghostface Killer. You're like, there is, like, he's trying to win Staten Island too, which is try to put Cuomo and Sliwa on their heels. Like, that's the kind of thing where you think that is it was such a feeling and an energy in that room of the final Wu-Tang show in the Garden. And he's like, yeah, I got to be there. You're like, that's someone who, you know, all the talk about, is he a New Yorker? You know, he was from Uganda. I'm like, this is someone who's like New York through and through. If he's showing up to that show, there was such an energy at that show.
This is Cuomo. Cuomo might have shown up and shook RZA's hand and then left. But
yeah.
Mamdani gets there and he remembers Inspector Deck, You God, Ghostface, Raekwon the Chef. He puts in the time.
R.I.P. the ODB.
R.I.P. the ODB, but I think ODB's son was there.
Yes, that's right.
I'm sure he had some FaceTime with him.
Yeah.
I think you are right. And actually, there was energy around him being there, which is cool to see. You want somebody who feels like they are a part of this city and part of that conversation.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the disconnects that I've felt in following this mayoral race is they're saying like, oh, the kind of implication that Mamdani is not one of us. And you're like, everywhere he go, it's like he is living the experience of New York that I am living in a way that Cuomo is not. And that's a really interesting disconnect because I've lived in New York City for over 20 years. I'm around Zohran's district, so I have the same experience that he does of the city. So with this idea that he's like this outsider, this scary other, it's like it doesn't resonate with me at all because I'm like, this is just a guy who seems like he's in and around my neighborhood, and so it doesn't hit the same way. The other thing I will say is Mamdani's done a lot of press, obviously, in this campaign, and every time he mentions a restaurant, it is on point, the recommendation, to the point where he did an interview with like the New York Times or something, and he listed like, they were like, what are your favorite restaurants? And he listed 3 places, and I ran home and I was like, babe, Kebab King is in our delivery zone. We've got like, Mamdani just dropped it. We're like, get on there. It was like in 30 minutes, we was like, we got to get the chicken biryani. And it was so good. And then we're like, oh, to the point that there are on the Astoria Reddit forum, there is a thread about all of the restaurants that Mamdani has recommended where people have like put them together. And everyone's like, oh, I love, Abu Kir, the seafood place, or like on the Daily Show this week, he recommended Mahmoud's, a place on Steinway. And there was the first tier of people who are like, oh, I love all these restaurants. And then there was the backlash tier of like, he's blowing up all our good restaurants. Why can't he go and just be like, yeah, the McDonald's on 31st Street's pretty good. Why don't you order from that? So
that is the fine line. That's what does he do as a politician? Does he get the cred of the good reference, or does he not blow it up and ruin it for all the locals who are like, this is our spot, we found it. Send them to something. Send them to a B+. Don't send them to an A+. The A+, we put in the hard work. It is our little secret.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, but there is a part of me that's worried that if he wins, everyone's talking about like, oh, what if a Democratic socialist take over? I'm like, if this guy moves out of my delivery zone, my food quality is going to go down. So I don't know how to feel about it. But if he stays in the delivery zone, are all these places going to blow up and be, too crowded? These are the issues that New Yorkers are worried about.
This is why you show up at the polls. You have to have your voice heard.
And look, to be fair, to give equal time to both candidates, I know that's not a law anymore, but Andrew Cuomo did an interview, and he was asked what his favorite restaurant in the city was, and he said Fresco by Scotto, and that's it's on Madison Avenue, and there was this great video where the person who was interviewing him was like, what kind of food is that? Which you'd think you'd be able to tease together. Fresco by Scotto, Andrew Cuomo is an Italian place. But so it led to one of my favorite sound bites of the week, and we can play it for you right now. Take a look.
What's it?
Sounds Italian.
Italiano.
Yeah, come on, classic.
Lasagna.
A natural. He's just like one of us.
It was pretty good.
Italiano.
Yeah, come on, classic.
Lasagna.
I have been walking around my apartment just saying that to myself for like a week and a half now. I'm just doing the dishes going, Italiano, lasagna.
All of this cultural stuff you get in all of the political campaigns, but I do think you learn a lot from somebody as to what their true taste is, what food they like, the recommendations they have. You have those friends who have good food recommendations, have good music recommendations. You trust them, you understand them, you understand what they're going, their point of view is. And from a food perspective, like that is a very trusted position. Like I have so few nights out with a child and with work that if I'm going out once a month or so to a restaurant, it better be a good-ass rec. That person needs to understand the things that I like, the experience I want to have, the price range I want to play within, how far away I want to go to it. Like that is a delicate piece of information that I only have a few people that I would ask that from or take that recommendation from. And if you are somebody who is savvy enough to know what people might like, what types of things appeal to most people, and yet is specific enough that it's not trying to appeal to everybody. Like that is I'll take that litmus test more than I'll take a litmus test on, what you'll do with the roads, what you'll do with the housing. Like, let me know. Biryani spots in Astoria, do you have an inn? Andrew Cuomo, maybe I'd go to him for basic lasagna in Midtown.
Yeah.
He probably knows how to find lasagna in Midtown.
He knows the Italiano. He knows the lasagna.
Sliwa. What about Sliwa? Sliwa knows how to. He's like, I'll tell you how to make tacos in a bag. Do you know tacos in a bag? You take ground beef, you put it in a Ziploc bag, you crunch up some Doritos. I know a lady who makes it out of her house. Go to that spot. Which, you know what? I also respect. If you can find a good taco in a bag in New York City, God bless you. I bet Sliwa can help.
I will say he is famously a cat guy. That he has a lot of cats and has talked about moving them into Gracie Mansion. I bet Sliwa knows exactly the bodega to get the cheapest fancy feast, where they have like the back bodega. He probably knows the owner and the bodega cat by name. He's shaking the paw on the way in. So,
Sliwa's got the bodega cat vote in the bag.
Does he ever?
That he has.
So yeah, those are the issues that are important to us in the New York City election.
And we're gonna trust me. I think our Wednesday show is mostly gonna be a food review show. So
I think that's right.
Yeah, tune in Wednesday where we get all the food from all of the hot spots around town. We bring it in. We have a taste test. We tell you what democracy tastes like.